Author's note. Late in the Night is a short story I wrote all the way back in high school, most likely around 2017 or 2018, although I can't remember the exact year that I wrote it. I just know that it was somewhere around that time frame. If the audio in this video sounds a bit choppy in certain sections, I apologize. But again, as I mentioned in my channel trailer way back when I initially launched Falling in Fiction, I'm not a natural voice actor, nor am I a professional audio producer / mixer, so please bear with me while I navigate exploring incorporating voiceovers into my videos, specifically for my short story narrations. Regardless, I hope you enjoy this story. Dear Daniel, I understand that it's been 8 months since our breakup, but I can't help but wonder. Do you still think of me even though we're over? I know that the idea of that sounds absurd, but I've been doing a lot of thinking about our past history with one another, and, well, I have some things I'd like to get off my chest regarding that, which is why I'm writing this letter to you. While your actions hurt me deeply, I no longer view you with animosity. In the end, I just want you to be happy, and I don't want you constantly dwelling on thoughts surrounding what could have happened between us and all the what-ifs. Concerned. Our relationship is a thing of the past now, and I'm releasing these thoughts to you as a way of finally getting closure over the situation. Take this however you wish, but I want you to know that it comes from a good place deep within my heart. I wish you nothing but the best and hope you'll find it within yourself someday to let go of the pain you put me through. Best regards, Sydney. When Sydney finished typing up her letter to send to her ex-boyfriend, Daniel, she began to have second thoughts on it. Is this letter too personal? She wondered as she reread the letter again. What if he doesn't understand the point I'm trying to make? Or worse, what if he doesn't even read it at all and disregards it entirely? What will he think upon reading this letter? Throughout the 8 months that they've been apart, Sydney never would have imagined doing what she was in that moment. Writing a letter to the man she'd once loved. He'd been her world for the past 5 years, but yet she was, and if she had to admit, the entire writing process of this letter had been a very freeing experience for her. It allowed her to express everything she'd ever wanted to say to Daniel in written form, rather than verbally. Funnily enough, Sydney had previously begun the process of trying to write this letter a few times before, but each time she did, she hadn't liked the way each attempt had turned out and ended up deleting it to start over. This time, though, wasn't like that. Sydney was very pleased with the results, and despite currently having second thoughts about it, she knew that sending it to Daniel was the right thing to do. So that's exactly what she set out to do once she printed out her letter, folded it, and placed it inside an envelope. As she made her way over to Daniel's apartment in downtown San Francisco, Sydney's stomach twisted into nervous knots. She checked the time on her phone, and according to her screen, it was already 10:45 p.m. Shit, she thought, seeing this. Daniel's going to think I've lost my mind or something. I didn't realize how late in the evening it already is. But I have to get it to him, and I shouldn't be caring so much about what he thinks. For Sydney, her letter to Daniel had started out as a means for her to get closure over their relationship after she caught him cheating on her one night, which was the cause for the breakup in the end. Originally, she thought she'd run out of things to say to him after their explosive end, but a few weeks ago, while during a shift at work, she realized that she actually had more things to say to him than she anticipated, and soon after, the idea of writing and sending a letter to him was what she realized she needed to do. For herself, not necessarily for him. It was only done on her behalf. After walking a short distance, she was already standing in front of Daniel's apartment complex, clutching the letter tightly in her hand. What am I doing? She wondered. Have I gone crazy? No, that's not possible. I'm doing this for a reason, for my own benefit. Since I'm already at his apartment, I know I can't back out now. My only option is to go through with this. Upon gathering her thoughts and getting a firm grip on herself, without hesitation, Sydney entered Daniel's apartment complex and was about to place her letter in the mail slot located right inside the lobby when she was interrupted. Sydney? She turned around right then, only to be met with the appearance of Daniel standing there, glaring at her with a confused expression on his face. She froze. "What are you doing here?" he asked. "It's awfully late, you know." "I know," she replied. Daniel then caught sight of the letter in her hand and glared at it with interest. "What's that?" Sydney quickly glanced down at the letter she was holding, then back up at him again. "Listen, I have something to give you, which is what this letter is for," she confessed. "I was about to put it in the mailbox and then leave right afterward, but then you showed up unexpectedly." "Oh, really?" Daniel said in astonishment, his eyes wide. "You can just hand it to me now if you want. I don't mind." "Are you sure?" she asked. Daniel nodded. "Yes," he said. "I'm sure." Despite being apprehensive, she handed him the letter. Just as she was about to turn and leave, however, Daniel stopped her and said, "Since you're here, you can come up to my apartment if you want." "Oh, I really shouldn't. Besides, my intention wasn't to be here long anyway," she replied, slightly caught off guard by his request. "No, really, I insist," he said, smiling. Sydney thought for a moment, rationalizing with herself over whether or not heading up to Daniel's apartment would be the best idea to proceed with. My intention really only was to send him a letter and be on my merry way back towards my own apartment, she thought. I honestly wasn't intending to endure a conversation with him. This whole closure thing wasn't up for discussion. Finally, after a while, Sydney shook her head. "That doesn't sound like a wise idea, Daniel, if I'm being honest," she said. "Besides, I really should get going. But it was nice running into you, though." Without another word, Sydney fled from Daniel's apartment complex, leaving him standing with a starstruck expression on his face. In the end, leaving was better than staying, because Sydney realized that chatting with Daniel over the contents of her letter would stir up old emotions she didn't want to relive again. On her journey back to her apartment, she knew that she had made the right choice, and whether or not she'd hear from Daniel again wasn't a thought that bothered her. All that mattered was that she had closure over a situation that pained her for far longer than she'd liked to admit. What brought her a sense of relief was knowing that she released her most troubling thoughts into the hands of the person she thought needed to hear them the most. And obtaining the closure she utmost desired was ultimately what helped her heal from it all.